Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. Here it is a Friday. Week's over. Hope you've had a good one. Hope you're looking forward to a good weekend. You know, a weekend is kind of a good time to just relax a little bit from the chores of our daily week. But who knows? Some people don't get going until the weekend, and maybe that's one of you too. So I have some ideas I'd like to share with you this morning. Some rather practical things, actually. It comes from the little book of James. And starting with chapter 1 and verse 19, we read these verses. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. And then verse 22, do not merely listen to the word, and so you deceive yourself. Do what it says. Well, those are pretty simple, yet powerful ideas to share and to listen to. And so let's take a couple of minutes here and see what we can see. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Now, you've probably heard that before. Probably not news to you. But golly, many people don't want to listen. They got their next argument ready before you ever finish your statements. That's not listening. Listening is taking the time to really hear what somebody's saying. And I don't just mean the words. I mean the emotions. I mean the desires, the hurt, the feelings that come out of the words. Now, counselors are supposed to be really good at that, and the really good counselors are really good at that. The rest of us may not be so good. I know sometimes if I feel threatened by someone, I got my answers all ready to go. I got my gun loaded, ready to shoot, and whatever they say, I'm going to hit them with it and divert their words away from me. And that's not what God wants us to do. He says to be slow to speak, to be quick to listen, and slow to become angry. I know some people that have what are called a short fuse. I hope you're not one of them, but you probably know someone who is. And they're so hard to be around. I mean, without intending to, you can say a word or a phrase and whoosh, off they go. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? And usually those are the people who have the most hurt in their lives. They don't want to admit it. But they're not reacting to you. They're reacting to something that happened long before you ever showed up. And it's this anger. It's not the best way to find the righteousness of God. I don't know much good comes out of anger. Usually, if you're concerned about it, anger is followed by guilt and apology. Because I know I shouldn't have said or done that, but I already did. Now, the next little verse here that I looked at, or I read, verse 22, this was a pretty direct thing too. It says, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourself. Do what it says. Most of us are pretty good at reading something in the Bible. As long as it doesn't challenge our way of thinking, We're right there. Yeah, I agree. I'm right on you. I'm with you, friend. But if it challenges something we've already preconceived to do or to think, well, that's a whole different matter. And it says here, don't just listen to it. Do it. If it says trust God, what do you think that means to do? Trust God. If it says forgive your enemies, well, what does that say? Forgive your enemies. And I know people want to put a but in there, but you don't understand, but you don't realize, but you don't know what happened. No, I don't. I have to forgive my enemies just like you have to forgive yours. If it says to spend time talking with God every day, it means to do it. And the more you spend time talking with God, the more God's love and compassion will fill your heart. If it says study the words that come from God, that means you have to read the Bible and study them, not just blow through them a little bit. Simply don't listen to what it says. Do it. The simplest direction anybody can have. So, today, think about your life. First off, are you slow to speak? Are you quick to listen? Are you slow to anger? Well, you're going to have to answer that. I'm not going to try to answer it for you. Each of us is responsible for our own selves. And so I invite you to look at yourself, see where you are. And then it says, do not merely listen to the word, but do it. Which one of these little phrases describes your behavior and your attitude in life and the way you approach problems? Well, I hope you'll take a few moments and think about that today. I'd encourage you to do the right thing. Of course, God's been encouraging you long before I ever came around, because He wants us to do the right thing. He wants us to be able to think of Him as our best friend, even though He's the God of the universe. Well, thanks for listening today. I know you don't have to take the time, but I appreciate you sharing it with me. And I really hope, that you have a great weekend. And I'll be back on Monday, and we'll share some more. God bless you. I'll talk to you then.